Hi, my name is Elena. I'm a corporate president today. I lead teams. I make financial decisions. I oversee budgets worth millions. People look at me now, and they assume I've always been good with money. But that's not true. Not even close. There was a time when I didn't understand money at all, and that lack of understanding cost me years of my life. I want to take you back to when I was in college, because that's where it all started. I was ambitious, driven, focused on success, but I had one blind spot: money. No one had taught me how to manage it. No one explained how credit worked. No one explained interest. And no one explained how dangerous it could be to spend money you don't actually have. I thought I was smart, but financially, I was completely unprepared. And that's where the story begins. Not in a boardroom, not in a corner office, but in a college dorm room with my first credit card. I still remember the day I got my first credit card. It felt like freedom, like opportunity, like adulthood. They made it sound simple. Build your credit, earn rewards, convenient and safe. And I believed all of it, because no one explained the other side, the part about interest, the part about minimum payments, the part about long-term consequences. At first, I used it carefully, small purchases, books, food, gas. But then something changed. It became easy, too easy. I didn't feel the money leaving my hands. There was no physical transaction, no immediate consequence, just a swipe, and done. That's when the danger begins, because when spending becomes invisible, it becomes effortless, and when it becomes effortless, it becomes excessive. At some point, I stopped thinking before I spent. I told myself, I'll pay it off later. That's what the card is for. But later never came. Instead, balances grew, slowly at first, then faster, then out of control. I got a second card, then a third, because it was easy to get approved, too easy. Each card felt like a solution, but each card made the problem worse. That's another lesson. Debt doesn't solve problems. It postpones them, and often it makes them bigger. Then came the statements, balances I didn't expect, numbers that made me uncomfortable. But there was always that line, minimum payment due. And it looked manageable, small, affordable, safe. So I paid the minimum, and I told myself, I'm doing fine. But I wasn't, because most of that payment was going to interest, not the principal, not the actual debt, just the cost of borrowing. That's how the trap works. It doesn't feel dangerous until it is. Credit card interest is high, very high, much higher than most people realize, and it compounds. Quietly, relentlessly, every month, your balance grows. Even if you're not spending, even if you're trying to pay it down, because interest keeps adding. That's what happened to me. I stopped spending as much, but my balance didn't shrink. It stayed the same. Or worse, it grew. And that's when I realized I wasn't in control anymore. There came a moment when I couldn't ignore it anymore. Multiple cards, high balances, minimum payments adding up. And I struggled just to keep up, not to get ahead, just to survive. That's when stress entered my life, real stress, financial stress, the kind that follows you everywhere, that affects your decisions, your focus, your confidence. I thought I could manage it, but by the time I realized I couldn't, it was already too late. My credit score dropped significantly, and that changed everything. Loans became harder to get, interest rates got worse, opportunities closed, because your credit score, it's not just a number, it's a signal of how you manage money, and mine was telling a bad story. It took years to recover, to pay down the debt, to rebuild trust, to rebuild stability, and those years, they were hard. Today, I understand money. I understand credit. I understand interest. But I learned it the hard way, and I don't want you to. Credit cards are not evil, but they are dangerous if you don't understand them. High-interest debt is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make because it grows against you, not for you. And the earlier you learn this, the better your future will be. So if you remember one thing, let it be this: just because you can spend it doesn't mean you can afford it. And understanding that, that's financial literacy.